My wife texted, "Lawyer says I get half your business in the divorce. Thanks for building my retirement, lol." I wrote back, "Interesting." Then I dissolved the LLC and restructured under a new corporation with my father as majority shareholder. Next month, her attorney was explaining why there was nothing left to divide. I, 38 male, was at my desk going through inventory reports when my phone buzzed. Tuesday, 3:47 p.m. Text from Vanessa, 36, my wife of 9 years. "Lawyer says I get half your business in the divorce. Thanks for building my retirement, lol. Don't bother coming home. Locks changed. Papers being filed tomorrow." Attached was a screenshot of what looked like a legal consultation summary. Something about marital asset division and business valuation. I read it 3 times. We'd been rocky lately, sure. Arguing about money, about her spending habits, about her new friend, Brett from her yoga studio. But divorce? Filed without even a conversation? The retirement comment, though, that's what stuck. Like my 12 years building Jensen Specialty Solutions from nothing was just her personal piggy bank. I typed back, "Interesting." Then I called my dad. "See, here's the thing about my business. I started Jensen Specialty Solutions 11 years ago, year before I married Vanessa. It's an industrial equipment consulting firm. We help manufacturing plants optimize their machinery purchasing and maintenance. Niche field, decent money. I'd built it to about $340K annual revenue, employed 4 people including myself. But here's what Vanessa didn't know. Last year business got rough. Supply chain issues, clients delaying projects. I had to take on debt to keep payroll going. About $180K in business loans, all secured against company assets. Then 6 months ago, my dad Robert, 64M, came in as a silent investor, putting in $100K to help me through the rough patch. We'd formalized it with proper paperwork. He owned 30% equity legitimately. I'd been planning to buy him out eventually. On the phone, Dad listened while I explained Vanessa's text. "So she's going for the business?" Dad's voice was calm, measured. He'd been through his own messy divorce when I was a teenager. He knew the game. Apparently her lawyer thinks it's worth something. What's it actually worth after the loans? Maybe $120 in real equity. But she's probably thinking it's worth the gross revenue or something. Dad was quiet for a moment. "You know, I've been thinking about expanding my investment. If you're heading for divorce anyway, might make sense to restructure the company properly. I've got capital. You need protection." We talked for an hour, made a plan. Everything legal, everything documented, everything with legitimate business justification. By 6 p.m., I had a meeting scheduled with my business lawyer, Kent, for first thing Wednesday morning. Drove past my house that night. Sure enough, my key didn't work. Vanessa had actually changed the locks, called a buddy, crashed on his couch, didn't bother fighting it yet, had bigger priorities. Wednesday morning, Kent, my business lawyer, sat across from me, reviewing documents. "Okay, so your wife is filing for divorce and expecting to get half the business, but you legitimately have $180 in secured business debt. Your father owns 30% equity, and you're looking to restructure. What's the goal here?" "Legitimate business reorganization. My dad wants to invest more, become majority owner. I stay on as minority partner and operational manager." Kent leaned back. "That's legal, but timing's gonna look suspicious. Her lawyer will scream fraudulent conveyance, which is why we need ironclad documentation. Dad's putting in real money. We're paying off the high-interest debt, restructuring under a new corporation. It's a legitimate business decision that happens to protect my interests. You'll still owe her something. House equity, other marital assets." "I know, but the business itself, I'm not handing her half of what I built so she can fund her yoga instructor boyfriend's lifestyle." Kent smiled slightly. "All right, let's do this right. I'll need 3 days to draft everything properly. Your dad needs to transfer real funds. We dissolve the LLC, create a new C Corp, legitimate business structure. This needs to be defensible." We got to work. Friday evening, got served with divorce papers at my buddy Tyler's place where I'd been staying. Vanessa's lawyer moved fast. Petition claimed irreconcilable differences and requested equal division of all marital assets, including 50% equity in Jensen Specialty Solutions, LLC, valued at estimated $340,000. She wanted $170K for my business. Wild. I called Kent. Papers came. She's claiming the business is worth full revenue. Expected. I'm almost done with the restructuring docs. Your dad ready? He's transferring $150K tomorrow. Real money, real investment. By Sunday it was done. Jensen Specialty Solutions LLC was officially dissolved. In its place, Jensen Industrial Consulting Group, Inc. My dad owned 65% equity. He'd put in $150K fresh capital plus his original $100K stake. I owned 35%. We'd used his investment to pay off the high-interest debt, restructure contracts, even hired a fifth employee with legitimate business justification for expansion. Everything documented, everything defensible, everything legal. I stayed on as president and operational manager. Dad was chairman. He actually attended board meetings, reviewed financials, made real decisions. This wasn't a shell game. This was a legitimate restructuring. Monday morning, I had Kent send notice to Vanessa's lawyer. Please be advised that Jensen Specialty Solutions LLC has been dissolved. My client now owns 35% equity in a new corporate entity, Jensen Industrial Consulting Group, Inc. Financial statements attached. Then I waited. Update 1. 1 week later. The absolute meltdown was spectacular. First, Vanessa called me directly Wednesday evening. I answered. What did you do? She was screaming. Like genuinely screaming. My lawyer says there's nothing to divide. You hid the business. I didn't hide anything, Vanessa. The old LLC was dissolved. I'm now a minority shareholder in a new corporation. All legal, all documented. You're lying. You can't just make assets disappear. I didn't. Check the paperwork. My dad invested $150. He's majority owner now. I own 35%. Your lawyer has all the documentation. This is fraud. I'm telling the judge. Tell him, everything's legal. My business lawyer made sure of it. She hung up. Phone started blowing up immediately. Her sister Madison, 34F. Her mom Diane. Even Brett, the yoga instructor, sent me a message calling me a manipulative coward. Blocked all of them. Thursday, got a call from Vanessa's lawyer, Mr. Harrison. Mr. Jensen, this restructuring is clearly fraudulent conveyance. You dissolved a marital asset to avoid division. Mr. Harrison, my business was legitimate debt. My father made a legitimate investment. The restructuring happened for real business reasons. I have documentation showing everything. Your client isn't entitled to my father's investment or to equity in a company I don't majority own. The timing is suspect. The timing is unfortunate, but legal. My business lawyer assures me everything was done properly. We'll see what the judge says. I look forward to it. Here's what Vanessa didn't understand about business. The LLC had been struggling. The debt was real. Dad's investment was real. The restructuring was legitimate. Yeah, the timing was convenient for me, but everything was defensible. Could she still come after my 35%? Sure. But 35% of a company carrying debt with a majority shareholder who actually controlled operations? That was worth maybe $40K in real terms, not the $170K she'd been expecting. But Vanessa wasn't done trying. Friday afternoon, Tyler called me. He's my sales guy, works directly with clients. Hey man, weird thing. Got a call from someone claiming to be from the state licensing board, asking about our certifications, whether we had proper insurance, questioning some of our client contracts. My stomach dropped. What'd you tell them? Told them everything was in order, which it is. But it felt off, like they were fishing. Vanessa's trying to cause problems, make sure all our paperwork is spotless. Every license, every insurance policy, every contract. Spent the weekend doing a complete compliance audit. Everything was fine, but the harassment was obvious. Monday, the escalation continued. Got a call from my biggest client, Patterson Manufacturing. Derek, need to ask you something. Got an anonymous email claiming your company is under investigation for fraud. Is there something we should know? Rage. Pure rage. But I kept my voice level. No investigation. I'm going through a divorce. My ex-wife is trying to cause problems. Business is completely legitimate and compliant. I can have my lawyer send you documentation if needed. Not necessary. Just wanted to hear it from you. We've worked together for 6 years. I trust you. But I had to ask. I understand. Thanks for calling me directly. Vanessa was trying to destroy my business because she couldn't have half of it. Sending anonymous emails to clients, calling fake investigations, all because I'd legally protected my assets. Tuesday evening, got a voicemail from Diane, Vanessa's mom. Derek, this is Diane. I know you're angry, but what you're doing is cruel. Vanessa gave you the best years of her life. She supported you while you built that business. She deserves her fair share. You need to do the right thing and give her what she's owed. Call me." I didn't call back. Instead, I pulled up my old records. Supported me while I built the business? Vanessa hadn't worked a real job in 7 years. I'd paid for everything. She'd taken yoga instructor training 3 years ago that I paid $8 for, got certified, taught maybe 5 classes total, then quit because the studio politics were toxic. Her support was spending my money and occasionally remembering to ask how work was going. Wednesday, received formal discovery requests from Harrison. They wanted every financial document related to the business for the last 5 years. Every bank statement, every contract, every piece of paper. Kent called me. "They're fishing, looking for anything to claim the restructuring was fraudulent." "Will they find anything?" "No, because you didn't do anything wrong. This was a legitimate business decision, but it's going to cost you time and money to respond properly. Do it, whatever it takes." Spent the next week gathering every document, every single piece of paper. Bank statements showing the real debt, Dad's wire transfers showing real money, the employment agreement for our new hire, client contracts justifying the expansion, everything. Cost me $4 in legal fees just to compile and respond to discovery, but it was worth it. Every document proved the restructuring was legitimate. Update 2. 3 weeks later. The preliminary hearing was brutal. Not because I lost, but because watching Vanessa's entitlement crash against reality was almost physically painful. We sat in the judge's chambers, me, Kent, Vanessa, Harrison, and Judge Patricia Walsh. Informal hearing to discuss asset division before trial. Harrison started strong. "Your Honor, Mr. Jensen deliberately dissolved a marital asset to avoid equitable division. He owned a business worth approximately $340,000. Now he claims it's worth nothing." Judge Walsh looked at the documents. "Mr. Harrison, I see here that Jensen Specialty Solutions LLC carried $180,000 in secured debt. That would make the actual equity closer to $160,000, not $340,000. That debt is suspect, Your Honor. Convenient that it appeared right before divorce." Kent spoke up. "Your Honor, I have loan documents dating back 14 months, long before any divorce filing. The debt is legitimate, verified by third-party lenders." The judge reviewed more papers. "And the father's investment?" $150,000 in fresh capital, Your Honor. Wire transfers verified. Mr. Jensen's father now owns 65% of legitimately restructured corporation. My client owns 35%. Vanessa couldn't stay quiet. "He's hiding assets. He made the business disappear." Judge Walsh gave her a look. "Mrs. Jensen, please let your attorney speak for you." Harrison tried to recover. "Your Honor, the timing is highly suspicious. The restructuring happened after my client indicated she would file for divorce." "Actually," Kent said calmly, "the business discussions with Mr. Jensen's father began 4 months ago. I have emails proving that. The divorce filing accelerated the timeline, but the restructuring was already planned." This was true. Dad and I had been casually discussing him increasing his investment for months. The divorce just made it urgent. Judge Walsh spent 20 minutes reviewing documents. Finally, she looked up. "Mr. Harrison, I'm not seeing fraud here. I see a legitimate business restructuring. The debt is verified. The father's investment is verified. The new corporate structure is legitimate. Your client may be entitled to a portion of Mr. Jensen's 35% stake, but that's very different from 50% of the original LLC." Vanessa's face went white. "What? No, he owes me half." "Mrs. Jensen," the judge said firmly, "you're entitled to equitable division of marital assets, but your husband doesn't own what you think he owns anymore, and from what I see, he did this legally." Harrison tried again. "Your Honor, we request a full business valuation of the new corporation." "Granted. But Mr. Harrison, I'm telling you now, this looks legitimate. I suggest you adjust your client's expectations." We left chambers. Vanessa was crying in the hallway, Harrison trying to calm her down. I heard her wailing, "He can't do this. That's my money." Her money. My 12 years of work, her money. Kent and I walked to his car. "How you feeling?" "Tired. She's gonna keep fighting, isn't she?" "Probably, but you're winning. The business is protected. She'll get something. House equity, maybe a small payout for your minority stake, but nothing close to what she wanted." The house, that was another issue. We'd bought it 6 years ago, put down $60K, my money, still owed $240K on the mortgage. Current value, maybe $380K. She was living there, I was still paying the mortgage from my personal account because the divorce wasn't final. Yeah, I was gonna lose that too. But half of 140K equity, 70 because was a lot better than 170K from the business. But Vanessa escalated anyway. 2 days after the hearing, my dad got a call from Diane. Robert, this is Diane, Vanessa's mother. I think you and I should talk parent to parent. Dad put her on speaker, with her permission. I was there. What can I do for you, Diane? You need to convince your son to do the right thing. He's stealing from Vanessa. She deserves half that business. You know he built it during the marriage. Actually, Diane, he built it before the marriage, and right now I own most of it because I invested my own money. Money I earned and saved. You only did that to help him hide assets. I did it to help my son's struggling business. The investment is real. The money is real. I'm sorry Vanessa is disappointed, but she's not entitled to my investment. This is cruel. She has nothing. She has whatever the court decides is fair, but she's not entitled to half of something my son doesn't majority own. Diane hung up on him. Next, the social pressure campaign started. Mutual friends from the marriage began reaching out. Some I'd expected, Vanessa's friends obviously, but a few surprised me. Got a message from Andrew, a guy I'd considered a friend. We'd done couples dinners, watched games together. Man, heard about the divorce. Pretty messed up how you're handling it. Vanessa's telling everyone you hid assets. That's not cool, I responded. Vanessa told me she was taking half my business before even filing. I restructured legally to protect myself. But thanks for your concern. Still seems shady, bro. She gave up her career for you. She took yoga instructor training and taught 5 classes. I paid for everything for 7 years. But believe what you want. He didn't respond. Lost a few friendships that way. People who heard Vanessa's sob story and didn't care about the details. Fine. Showed me who was really in my corner. Then came the finale. Month after the first hearing, we're back in court. Full hearing on asset division. This time, formal. Vanessa brought her mom and Madison for support. They sat behind her, glaring at me. Harrison presented their business valuation. They'd hired some guy who claimed the new corporation was worth $280 total. He'd used some creative accounting, projecting future earnings, ignoring the debt structure. Kent destroyed it. Our valuation expert, cost me $3 but worth it, showed the real numbers. Current debt obligations, actual equity value, the fact that I didn't have operational control as minority owner. His valuation of my 35% stake, $38,000. Judge Walsh reviewed both. Mr. Harrison, your expert's valuation is wildly optimistic. He's essentially valuing the company as if the debt doesn't exist and projecting 5 years of perfect earnings. That's not realistic, Harrison argued. The judge wasn't having it. Final ruling. House equity, split 50-50. I had to buy her out or we'd sell. Her share $70K, my business stake valued at $38K. She got half, $19K. Her car, which I'd been paying for, she kept it, took over payments. Retirement accounts, we each kept our own. Mine was bigger, but that's what happens when you actually work. Total to Vanessa, $89, minus her legal fees, about $15. She'd expected over $200. She got $74K net. The rage was immediate. This isn't fair. He hid everything. You're letting him cheat me. Judge Walsh looked tired. Mrs. Jensen, your husband legally restructured his business. You're receiving equitable distribution. This hearing is concluded. I'll appeal. That's your right. Outside the courthouse, Diane tried to confront me. You should be ashamed. Stealing from your wife. I didn't engage. Just walked to my car. Madison shouted after me. Karma's gonna get you. Maybe. But not today. Final update. 2 months later, divorce finalized last week. Vanessa didn't appeal. Harrison apparently told her she'd just lose money trying. I wrote her a check for $74. Took a personal loan to cover it, but whatever. She cashed it immediately. The house sold. We split proceeds. She moved into an apartment with Madison. Heard through the grapevine she's complaining about having to actually work now. Got a full-time job at some marketing agency. Poor thing. Brett, the yoga instructor, apparently vanished once Vanessa wasn't living in a nice house anymore. Shocking. As for me, the business is actually doing better. Dad's investment let us expand properly. We landed 2 new major contracts. Revenue's up to $420K this year. My 35% stake is actually growing in value. Yeah, I lost $89 in the divorce. House equity and her share of my business stake. That hurt. Cost me another $18K in legal fees total, so about $107K total cost. But I protected the business, the thing I built from nothing. If I just rolled over, I'd have lost $170K plus the house equity. Instead, I lost $107K and kept control of my company's future. Worth it? Honestly, yeah. Not because I won some game, because I didn't let her entitlement destroy what I'd built. The weirdest part was running into Diane at the grocery store last week. She looked at me like I'd murdered someone. I just nodded politely and kept walking. Not worth engaging. Tyler asked me last week if I regretted how I handled it. You could have just given her the money, avoided the fight, and let her take half of what I built? While she was already planning to run off with her yoga instructor? Nah. Fair enough. You're happier now? Honestly? Yeah. Stressed about the loan I had to take for her payout, working more to rebuild savings. But I'm not walking on eggshells around someone who saw my work as her retirement plan. My 35% of the business is mine. Dad's 65% protects it from anyone trying to take it again. We have a shareholders agreement now. If I want to buy him out, eventually, I can, but for now this structure works. Lesson learned. When someone shows you they see you as an ATM, believe them and protect yourself. Vanessa texted me once 2 weeks ago. Hope you're happy. You destroyed our marriage over money. I didn't respond. But yeah, Vanessa, I'm getting there. She destroyed the marriage by planning to take half of what I built before even filing. By sleeping with Brett, by seeing me as nothing but a paycheck. I just made sure she couldn't take everything with her on the way out. Cool? Cool.